Well, g'day and welcome back to Das Customs. I'm Das, and today we are going to be going through just some of my cars. Look, I didn't have time to film, a proper in-depth video about anything, that I'm doing this week, my projects. As you know, we kind of went through what we're going to call a mild cyclone last week, and the workshop just got trashed. I mean, there was stuff brought from out to in, and it was just, everything's kind of, there was a lot of rain, and everything's got musty, and I just want to do a big cleanup of the workshop, just so you can see what I'm talking about. It's just stuff everywhere, So what I've done is I've pulled all my cars out, and for the first time ever, I've got all my cars assembled, and, you can kind of see this is them. This is the projects that I've been working on since this channel started. There's been a couple other ones in there, but this is them. This is the ones, and hope you guys enjoy this. I'll give you a rundown and a walkthrough of what we've got, and brief histories behind them, and you can let me know if you want to see more on some of the cars. Anyway, without further ado, here we go. Where will we start? Look, actually, this car here, it's actually going away for a while. I'm going to put that down in the overflow shed just to create more space up in the top shed. So let's have a look at it. This is the wild chop that I inherited off a fella. When I got it, it was actually already in paint. It had been painted, but it was just not up to scratch. So we took all the paint off, sandblasted it all off, and I redid the chop. As you may have seen in other videos, I've put a new roof skin in it. I've done a lot of work on this car, and it's kind of one of them ones that I would really love to just continue, on with, but I just don't have the, I've got other ones that I need to finish. So it's got to go away, by the time I finish that, or even kind of get started really on that and, maintain that. This one is just going to be, one of them ones that's going to have to sit for a bit. So it's going back in the overflow shed. It is wild. So it had a rear oval window grafted into it, which I didn't do the original grafting, but I ended up having to redo it anyway, so I might as well claim it as my own now. The roof gutters were just really bad, and looking down them on the outside now, they're better, but they're not great. So there's going to be more work trying to fix that. Like there, I can just see that's a big in. This thing, I don't even know what the original car is. I got a feeling it's an early car. It didn't seem to have seatbelt mounts or anything in it from what I can remember. So I'd say she's a early 60s. The actual body. Having said that, there is a handle on the body like this one has the holes for there. So it might be more like a late 60s body. Very hard to know. This side, the rails on this side, the gutters are actually a lot better. That view there. So anyway, this is the chop. And when it's done, you can see how I've kind of cleaned up that whole back end of it, and it's kind of set up to take a pan that I've got, down in the other shed as well. So this thing may as well just go and live with it for a bit and just give me a bit of space. I do have most of the parts to build this car, but there's just a lot of work, a lot of hours that need to go in to get it further from this stage. So it's just going to have to sit for a while. Now, of course, next to it, look, we'll just skip past this one for a bit. We'll go on to this one here, which is the other one that's going to be, a lot of work to get it. It's currently running these aero style flares. It won't be running them. Sitting it out here like this, I can see they just don't look right on the car. It's actually kind of one of the first times I've ever had it outdoors and all kind of the same color. So it's going to be getting some different guards on it, that's for sure. I got a narrower beam for the front. I got to bring it in at least 4 inches. May end up being 6. This car was built around these wheels and tires, so it's going to have to be made to fit. Hey, there's little petties. he's come out. He's been pretty much housebound for the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks. So, you know, he's come out to say hello. Anyway, this thing. Okay, so let's get on with this. This car, the pan was originally built by an engineer down south near Sydney. He was building it for he was making a kit car based on a VW pan, and it was actually a shortened pan. This thing had been shortened however many amounts of inches, but I decided that I wanted to build a VW Beetle Ute, and this was actually one of the first projects I started with when I got back into bugs. And you know, it has moved along steadily, but it's been very steady, and it's kind of one of them ones I want to dig into. And once I get this thing done, this is what I'll be, you know, just headlong into. So this car, it has a full strengthened floor pan. You can see it has you know, 3x2 or 75x50 section, like a chassis welded all the way around, all around the front horn and all around the back as well. What I've done is I've actually lengthened it back into a standard VW length. The reason being is because I thought it would just be a heck of a lot easier to get it engineered that way, and it turns out it probably is going to be a lot easier. This car, well, for starters, right now it's got a Subaru WRX STI engine bolted into it that I accumulated. Whether or not I'm going to run this engine or not, that's one of the things that's been on my mind. I would like to actually get a Type 4 engine and build a turbo Type 4 engine for this car. And so that's one of the things that stalled me. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to keep building it around an engine that may not sit in it. Let's see how that eventuates. This has had the Mendiola rear end adapted into it, which, you know, turns it into running Fox shocks and does away with the torsion tube in there. It's a pretty cool setup. It has a built combi or Type 2 gearbox for it, and you know, that's that thing there. Most people ask me, what is the back end made out of? You know, back in the early days, I was building a international AA truck, and I had a spare set of guards sitting there, and one day it just dawned on me. I'd already built the cab for this ute, and I was not sure what I was going to do for the rear end, and I sat one of them on there and thought, you know what, that's perfect. So I've been building up to it. This thing also has a roof chop. It's a 3-inch chop. The back end, you know, has been fully modified, and it needs more work. The problem is I need to do a lot of work to this car, so it's just sat for a little while, but it will be coming back. It's kind of the next cab off the rank, I guess, after I get this other thing built. I've just had the desire to build this wild airride car, and, you know, that's it. Let's go over and have a look at it. So again, I am unsure what year this body is. I have a feeling it is a later 60s bug, pushing potentially even to a 67 or yes, because the rear mounts were modified, so it could even be as late as a 68 or a 69. So, and you know, one of the ways you can tell that is it's got the seatbelt mounts in the back there, and a few things. The handle in the dash, maybe someone can, you know, shed some light on that, because I don't have much info onto, you know, what this car was. But I've again modified it, you know, fairly severely. This thing, if you remember back in the day, me and Carlin went up and we scored ourselves a Baja, and I ended up using the floor pan off that to build the other EJ20 Baja that was big on this channel for a bit. And this was the body that came on that car. Now I grafted, you know, got a new clip and grafted that back onto the front, which you wouldn't even know now to look at it. It's, you know, it's not bad for old Das, if I do say so myself. I'm currently in the process of building a wild airride setup. This is something that I've been working on. This is kind of the project that, you know, this is the one that I'm losing sleep over at the moment. It's got a lot to do, and I'm, you know, very excited. So that's why I'm making more space in the workshop, so I can actually focus on this car. I can blow it up, put it back together without just cramping myself. So you know, I've got to create another bay for it. So, you know, the next on this is electrical. The airrides works. You can actually see on the front here I've got a little compressor plugged into it at the moment, and it does raise and drop it. It'll only pump up to 50 psi, which is enough at the moment to lift the front end, but it is all a bit stiff because it's all new, so it'll take a bit of cycling to get through. Paint colour. The paint colour is Nardo Grey, which is off the new or newer Audis. I think maybe Porsche might have done a Nardo Grey as well, but I love this colour. This car is called the 50 Shades. And you know, again, it's built off parts, and I kind of get parts and then build cars around them. Like those wheels, me and my darling wife, we went to a swap meet a couple of years ago, and I just really liked those wheels, so here I am now building a car to suit those wheels, and I feel like I'm doing them justice. Everything on this car is built by me, front end, full custom front end built by me. The pan is actually off a 58. It's a car that I acquired, and it has, you know, all the kind of the good bits in it, and that's why I was loath to get rid of this pan. So I've actually pulled this. The rat trap used to be on this pan. Of course, in the back of this is the 2110 that I've been building. This is a really, really cool engine that I acquired off a mate, and it is you know, it's pretty wild. It's all new parts. There's not one second-hand component on this engine. It's got the auto linear, the alloy case. It's got just everything about it is really cool. Something that I probably never would have been able to do unless I had acquired it off someone, because I'll admit it, I'm tight. I don't like spending money on stuff I don't have to. And when I saw, you know, my mate had decided not to build his project anymore, and I asked him immediately, what are you doing with your engine? And he was like, well, it's going to be for sale too. So we worked out a deal, and now here it is. I have had it running. We'll get it running again shortly. You know, I mean, this car, basically, I've done the IRS swap. It has a rear bag set up, it has rear discs, front discs. This car has everything, and it is a very, very cool car. Even Pedro reckons pretty cool. What do you reckon, Peddies? Pretty cool? Yeah, he agrees. So there she is, the 50 Shades. I don't have the guards, don't have the doors painted yet, don't have the deck lid. Nothing else is painted except that. But I just actually wanted to keep building it, so without, you know, something to work on. Now, of course, we'll go over to the channel, you know, the baby of the channel, which is the rat trap. The rat trap is currently, you know, good driving. A couple of episodes ago, we got it on historic rego, so it means I can drive this thing and it doesn't cost me a fortune for rego. She looks good parked up in the trees there. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to do this. When I pushed them all out, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. All my projects outside. Now, of course, the rat trap, we believe, is a 1959 or a 1960. Again, it's a bit hard to tell some of these cars when they've just been Frankensteined. This car was built probably in the 90s. Terrible paint job, which is what really attracted me to this car. And you can see it's all just, it's peeling, and I mean, the crazing on this thing is crazy. I mean, look at that. That's what I bought the car for. I just saw a picture of the roof and was like, yeah, how do I get this car? Interior was originally built for the original grey bug, and I've actually managed to modify the rear seat out of a later bug to fit into this. Pretty cool. We got the big shifter, crazy dash. I mean, my style of car, I really like that outlaw look, and all my cars kind of tend to end up going that way, and this car is no exception. I bought those wheels for this car just because they are, even though they're not genuine BDMs, are they? They're just a knockoff, but I really like the look of those wheels, and I think they suit this car down to a T. A couple episodes ago we put the deck lid on, this one without the painting on it. And of course the 1916 that I got off Carlin Beautiful little engine. Currently running the 44 IDF Weber clones, off-road Penrose. I'm going to go back to 40s very shortly, probably in the next episode. I've actually started filming something with that, so yeah, we're going to go back to 40s just to make it run a little better. Can you guess what that that rear valance off? And if you go back into a previous episode, you'll see I've actually chopped that out of a late model deck lid. So that's just it, upside down. Now, of course, this car did not originally have snowflakes on it, and I had acquired a set of those and always loved those tail lights. So that's what she got. A lot of blending, patina blending, trying to fill in stuff on this car. There was a lot of rust in this car. If you'll see in previous episodes, she was just riddled. But it's a beautiful little car. Anyway, that's going to be it for me on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is kind of just a bit of a walk around of all my projects, and I figured while I had them out of the shop, I may as well show you guys. Obviously, there's a lot more to come. Das Customs is not going anywhere. We moved out here, as my wife says, into the bewilderness, just so I could actually keep going with this and try and work a little less and play a little more and do something that I enjoy. So I hope you guys are enjoying this channel. Please don't forget to hit subscribe, help a fella out, send us a message. I love messages. You'll see I try and respond to them. If there's any questions about any of my cars, please don't fail to hit me up. I'll do a whole episode to answer one if you like. There's a fella that's hit me up about the hydraulic brake in there. There's an episode coming on that, I can tell you that right now. So anyway, I better get going. It's kind of starting to feel a little overcast, and the last thing I want is for it to rain with all my beauties out here. So I've got to get this shop cleaned up, and on that note, I'll catch you all later.